I am getting very excited that step by step things have completely gotten done. So this is my workshop studio, and the ceiling really did take quite a lot of effort and a long time collecting all of these different scarves for $1 here and there. Oh, somebody gave me those 3 right there. A bunch were given to me. Lots were given to me, so I'm going to do the ones overhead first. So there's no rhyme or reason, it just kind of works out, although there was a few I had to personally select and patch areas. So I did kind of pick some pretty ones to replace areas, like that yellow there with the barbed wire, chicken wire fence, actually. There you go. And then this one was a shawl from my friend's that her mother had. And this corner was a little bit dark, so I put the orange ones in here and put the orange watercolor of the city that I did, and another orange, I believe it's a ghost orchid. And I have some beautiful hand done silk ones from different artists in town. I'm sure they will cringe when they figure out that I've stapled the heck out of their scarf to my ceiling. So over in this corner, when you come in the door, I have my display of different kinds of projects you can do. It's one display of at least 3, because I know I have one up at the weaving studio also with different woven things and hand spun. So there's a God's eye, a rag basket, and this was a little fun project of a house, a journal house, and you actually open it up and there's a little journal inside. I have done macrame, very large item macrames using that synthetic yarns, and then this one I made a little miniature lion using cotton yarn. And there's all kinds of doilies. Crochet classes will be a little more in depth. This is Pine Needle Basket Workshops, and this is the Pine Needle Basket. Bundles of pine needles and different types of yarns. The Wacky Crazy Dolls for sewing classes. And a little bit of embroidery. And this was a little stuffed horse for a horse and stick, with the kids used to ride around on a stick with a horse head. And some crocheted toys. And then down here is also some basketry, raffia. I've got a box full of stuff there. And then this is handmade paper presses. And the storage bins for projects for group classes. But in here I've got some, that's my old sign for House Mountain Art Guild, Fiber Arts Guild. And there's an assortment of storage boxes of yarns here. Some old keepsakes, some art from one of my daughters, and even my son did some pottery years ago. So here is the little desk office area. Some extra tables. I've got 1, 2, 3 more, I believe, maybe even 4. So this is the little kitchenette spot. I have my essential oil steamer right there and an extra fan. There's a microwave, fridge, and a toaster oven. So you could do some popcorn and hot tea or coffee. And these are the coffee mugs from the coffee pot. his name. He bought the coffee pot, was a stone carver. Oh my gosh, I can't remember his name. Anyway, he had me design some artwork for coffee mugs. And then when he sold the place and was done, he gave me a whole case of coffee cups. And I was like, okay, I can use them. And a brochure holder and my business card holder. And then this countertop came off for the back of this big drawer system there, but I couldn't have it out in the middle of the room. So I took the desktop and applied it to here, took off the cupboards. Several people liked the idea of taking the cupboards off. And I have 2 working sewing machines down there and some art frames for people's artwork when they finish some particular projects. And then this is 2 closet doors. Actually, it was a room divider for my house in Summit Street, and I'd taken the doors down and just saved them because they are wood and they have come in perfect. My construction guy, Bert Camden, has attached it to the whole system here, and so they don't move. But this door opens up, and that's where I have more picture frames and canvases stored that someday I'm going to do some painting again. See what comes about with that. But he put a shelf in here so I could store all my cushions for the chairs in the driveway, for the driveway cafe in the fall. This is a big chifforobe thing that I got from a friend years and years ago, my landlady. So, and I've got some craft supplies in there, and yeah, some lights and different boxes, a modeling part. This is a container for doing dye bath in. I have an ironing board and an iron out here, and this is another sewing machine with more canvases stored underneath. And then this is the drawer system. I just bought the little metal plates to put on here that you slide the little tag in, and you can write on it what's in the drawer then. So I'm going to put all those out here on all these white tags hanging off. And at the back is stretchers for silk printing or silk dyeing. I've got several of them for a workshop that we will do eventually. And I just kind of decorated stuff up here. My friend wanted me to get this ocean picture out, the bayou picture out, and I said, there is no walls to hang anything that big at my house, anywhere. So I don't know where it's going to go, but it's stuck there for now. There I have another sewing machine, and then I still cut some hair occasionally, so this is the hairdressing station. But it also folds out double, so 2 more people could sit here, or the instructor, myself, or a guest instructor can use it for a display area to put stuff. And then I have more baskets here. These baskets, and there's a bunch of these that came from the salon that I used to put projects in, so I have enough for each student to put their supplies in. And I have an assortment of art books here for different crafts. This was my Bible for learning all kinds of things when I was much younger. And it had all kinds of, I did basketry, bookbinding. I played with ceramics, but I didn't have a kick wheel, so I just did stuff by hand. I did some leather work. I had a little lapidary at one point because my great aunt had one that I absolutely loved. Of course, the weaving and woodworking, I've done some wood carvings. So that was a pretty cool book to look at when I was studying my own pursuits. And there's a stack of aprons in case somebody doesn't want to get something on their clothing. And then other patterns and counted cross stitch and other projects there. And a box with a bunch of patterns in it. And some artwork that my daughter had done. And then this is a rock little pebble stone thing that my grandmother made years and years and years and years ago. Probably in the early 60s, maybe even late 50s. So here I have a nice little sitting area and a big footstool, another chair, and I put some lights inside the that one I got up at Woodstock, New York, a few years in 2016 when I went to a festival up there. So up at the top is some more supplies for different type of projects, paper making and such. And then I've got a carousel here with some of my cards on it that I would sell. And then just knickknacks, things I'd given my mom and I brought them back home. So they're there. And some more artwork. Oh, and those drawers all have baby hats, a lot of baby hats I made, and some booties, some adult hats, some throws, woven throws, and bags in here for wrapping things in, and consignments. I don't like doing consignments. This woman wanted a hat with flowers all over it. And then she didn't want it. She wanted it in grays, and she wanted flowers. So, whatever, I don't want to do consignments. So, right on the middle of the table right now, which this turned out to be an excellent place to do large projects for sewing. I've got cushions here that I've just a few more to finish. This is going to go on the cast iron bed above my back door where the big oak tree is. It's a nice shady spot with a lot of ferns growing around the bed. And it's a child's twin bed, I believe. And so I've made this is the mattress. I've covered foam with plastic and then added this fabric cover to go on the top of it. I have to sew the flap shut and have it ties so I can take this off and leave the mattress out there. And then this goes on the headboard. It sits up so you can sit on the bed to sit out there and enjoy the evening and sit and draw, because there's a view 2 different ways to draw a picture. And then I've got several pillows that match this. Actually, they're the green. And this is a tie that I added for the dragonfly body. And I've got 2 pillows to go on it too, so it'll be a nice comfy spot to hang out. So now I've got 2 more pillows to finish hand sewing the ends. Like I have to hand sew the end of this one. And then this is that rolled plastic that you can sew. So I'm going to make a grill cover. You can make all kinds of cover things to put, or window protection, but you can also make seat covers and such. So I've got a roll of this that I'm going to make at least 3 grill covers. Another thing on my list. But I'm happy with the room. It's really a cool room. Plenty of space for 8 to 10 people, depending on the project. Sometimes too many people, it makes the projects harder to do with. And then, of course, I have the driveway. If I was to do like the cement sculpture class again, it's better to be outside with cement. So, yep, I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out. There's plenty of lighting. I got the steps finished off. Bert came and sawed one more piece of stepway that I found up at my chicken coop it was a broken one, and I was putting it as a step there. But I had redone all the gardens here because I had the cement drain put in. And so I transplanted all of these hostas, and some hostas there. And then I think I planted these pussy willows. And this is bergamot. Not bergamot. Shoot, I can't remember the name of it. But I just planted them for seed, so I was real happy to see them come up. And there's a hydrangea in there. My spider plants have all fell over, and the weed eating needs drastically done in that area. And then here I have my mailbox and my boogie sign for my Petite Bijou, which is Tiny Jewel. My friend Elena from, oh my gosh, what country is it she's from? She's probably going to comment on here. But she gave me the idea to name that Boho Boogie Petite Bijou. So this is my box drop, and they are still dropping the boxes in front of the door. So I intend on making a little sign to put in the window. And I got 2 old sewing machines. I had one, and one of my friends said, "You want another broken down sewing machine?" And I was like, well, 1's trash, 2 is art, so yeah, I'll take it. So there's that. And this is all the area that got all bulldozed up and dug out really deep, and then he put a whole drain system there, so the building will be dry and the water can't run into the building. And then I planted a whole bunch of clover all in here, so it will not be a mowed space. I did mow in this area here. And then with the amaranth growing there, it's kind of pretty. But the trimming and such is getting to be a lot of trimming, so it's kind of a Victorian countryside gardens. And that's a joke sign. You can take a screenshot of it if you want to read what it all says. And then that's my Dreaming Tree Farm sign. So that's it. Hopefully I can start Driveway Cafe this fall, and people can just come over and sit around the fire and tell some good stories. We'll have pillows and benches there. Here's the duck. And my new duck house with a chicken coming out. I think I am leaving the chicken with these 2 ducks, or 3 ducks, because they're buddies. They don't want to be by themselves. Here comes the 2 brown ducks. Rowan, I think. Rowan ducks. And a runner duck is the white one. And of course, there's elderberries everywhere. Might have to rename it Elderberry Farm. I've got a 3-gallon sack full of elderberries. That's the roadway up to the cedar cabin and the camper. And I'm getting ready to go out and do some mowing. And this little garden area here, I only have 1 garden spot that is below the fire pit that I haven't really taken care of. And this one gets overrun also, but I've got a whole bunch of snapdragons planted in there now. And they're looking kind of pretty. All right. Dreaming Tree Farm. Artist Retreat looks like it's in business. have my first client coming and I'm very excited.